You are now tuned in to Heat Check with Ty Slatter and Antonio Turner, right here on GTA Sports Network. Follow GTA Sports Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as GTA Heat Check, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, GTA Sports, and check out GTASportsNet.com for all things in the world of sports. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Ty Slatter.
Antonio Turner.
Welcome to another edition of GTA Heat Check, brought to you by GTA Sports Network. If you haven't already, make sure you follow GTA Sports Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as GTA Heat Check on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to the YouTube channel GTA Sports. And don't forget GTASportsNet.com for all things in the world of sports. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a very, very special guest with us, a friend of the show.
Very special.
Been with us since day one, Mr. Eron Gordon. How you doing, Mr. Gordon?
How you doing, brother?
I'm pretty good. Nice to be on here with y'all.
Oh, it's gonna be lit.
It's a pleasure, man.
I can tell by the intro this is gonna be lit. I'm gonna keep that intro for bloopers, man. That was hilarious. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that for Instagram. That was Instagram worthy right there. I'm gonna keep that.
I got to.
I'm gonna keep that one. Yeah. So Mr. Gordon, it's already been a year. 2020 was a year that nobody really wants to remember, but for some of us, we had some progress. We had some accomplishments. I mean, GTA Heat Check is, we're in season 2 now.
We thought we was doing our thing.
And we survived the pandemic because that 4 months with no basketball, we had to find something to talk about.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was tough. So my first question to you, Mr. Gordon, how you feel about 2020 overall, and how did you survive the pandemic? Like, what kept you going when basketball shut, when all the sports around the world came to a pause for 4 months? What did you do?
So obviously, we were, looking forward to playing in the postseason and possibly the tournament at a possible large bid. So when we were in Missouri, during the tournament and, we lost in the championship game, our hopes were that, we can somehow, play in a play-in game in the tournament or playing the NIT. And then next minute, the entire country just gets shut down, all of college basketball and all the NBA. So then I'm not gonna lie, the first 2 weeks, it was really confusing because my mental mindset was let's really, shock the world. Let's, try to make a run in a tournament. And then now it's just like there's no sports. And then I obviously was at that time looking forward to seeing what my brother, can do in terms of playoff run. And, my entire mindset was like, this could definitely be a really good year in terms of me and my brother both making a run and our prospective field. So when all that got taken down and over the course of 2 weeks, I was like, there's no way that like this is happening. So I kind of just sat at home and I was just so confused for the first 2 weeks. I was like, my mental mindset was so much there. So I pretty much just, after that, I pretty much just went back home and, regrouped. It's like I said, it took me about 2 weeks. And then I just, found my love in the other things such as, this media journey, like similar to what you guys are in. And, I just kind of found myself there. I stayed in good shape. Obviously I worked out every day and, I just kept on progressing up until school.
Like, what was your motivation? Like, I know you had 2 weeks to kind of process everything, but what sparked you and said, you know what, basketball or no basketball, I'm gonna stay in shape, I'm gonna stay ready, I'm gonna find some other stuff to do to occupy my time. Like, what sparked you to do podcasting? What got you into it?
I think with number one, I was graduating in May, and I think that let me know at some point right there, like, you're about to be a graduate.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to, play professional basketball too as well. And you obviously have another year to play basketball in college. So I believe that, you have an entire outlook of things and different people that you communicate with, just even around the community. Like, if you ever noticed about my podcast, like I could have, past NBA players that I, play with, but I really choose not to because I really choose to focus on people in the community that, I built, relationship with and talk about certain things like that. Cause I feel like I'm a lot more than just a basketball player. So I really found a true, I'll be honest. I feel like I found a true niche in terms of the people that I want to, talk with on my podcast, because I feel like it's more of a conversation versus the interview, and just being able to share their experience in the community and their experiences in life too as well.
Okay.
Respect
Tony,
that.
you got something for him?
Like, so you was in Missouri during the pandemic? Wow, when you found out,
so we were driving back. So what was so crazy is we were driving back, and obviously my old school Seton Hall was about to play, so I'm checking up on them, and they're obviously in New York, and they're getting ready to play, and I'm tuning in, and all of a sudden, as they're like warming up, as they're about to tip off, they just shut the game down, and I'm like, why would they shut the game down? So I'm researching, and then they're like the COVID-19. At that point, like obviously I've heard a little bit about it just because it was I didn't really. I didn't know how serious it was. And then when I saw that game got shut down, and like we're driving back and our coach is like, we got to get ready to play. I don't care, if we're in the NIT, if we're in the tournament, we just got to get ready to play again. And obviously that didn't happen. As soon as we, got back to the school, we all looked at each other and we were like, this may be it. We looked at our seniors, and I'll be honest, it was a little bit of a rougher moment, especially for our seniors, because I felt like we knew that we were going to play after, going into the tournament, no matter what. But I feel like once that happened and, everything got shut down, we kind of knew that was the last time, we were all going to play with each other, with the seniors, and we're going to have to look forward to the new year.
Yeah. The seniors that didn't get a chance to graduate or anything. They didn't have no ceremony or anything, did they?
Well, that's the thing. I was a senior in the classroom last year, so I didn't get to have a ceremony either. So yeah, it was kind of weird.
Wow. Tony, you got a question for him?
I'll come back to me. Let me think about
it. Okay. No, you're good. You're good. So when it comes to interviewing podcasts, having a podcast, we interview, community leaders and people that you feel have more to offer than just a sports conversation. Can you kind of touch on one of those examples of one of those podcast interviews that really stood out to you, like one of your favorite ones from 2020 that stood out to you, and if so, why?
Ooh, my favorite one. I would say there's two that really stuck out. I would say number one was Teron Johnson. He did play basketball, but I think that for him, when he talked a little bit about his transition to not playing basketball, that was really good. And I also thought that one kid that I was in class with, that I went to Valpo with, his name is David Mason, and he is a music producer. So I kind of, I think I would say me personally, that was probably my favorite one, just because he kind of gave a lot of, younger, producers an insight, because he started out and it was really a pleasure for me, because I saw him go through that struggle of, getting out into the music game. Because here's the thing that I try to really encourage other, entertainment people when they first start, because I think it's easy for me because it's basketball. Obviously, my dad, played professionally. My brother Eric plays professionally. My brother Evan plays professionally. So it's easy for me to, go chase my dream. But, I try to, tell people, all my peers, all my friends, go after it, in terms of your music dreams, because it's easy. Because, if you're, trying to go after an album, or if you're trying to make money, making music or whatever the case may be, obviously there's people that are going to doubt you, laugh, and say, you need to get a job or whatever the case may be. Right. But I always try to tell them, whatever the case is, you got to keep pushing, you got to keep moving, towards your dreams, because I feel like that's been my advantage in my entire life. I think my family has always really pushed me to, go play basketball. I don't think no one in my life has ever said, you should do something different. You should maybe try to get a job here. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, right. You still need to, do your, your due diligence of doing that stuff, but it's always really important to follow your dreams, whether you are a sportscaster, an artist, a comedian, always follow your dream until you can't.
Yeah, that was pretty much us.
Yeah.
That's what made us start.
And I love telling the story, because looking back on it, it's amazing how you can go to a job like Applebee's, find something that you're good at the job, something that you enjoy doing. In our case, it was bartending, obviously, because it's no secret the bartenders are the heart of a restaurant.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the midst of us doing that, because he came in as a bartender pretty much, and I was a server at first, and I became a bartender later on after my first year. And in the midst of us doing that, we found a similar interest in the sports, and we just started talking.
We just didn't know each other had it.
Yeah.
No. And lo and behold, we spend the whole 8-hour shift talking sports the whole time.
Yeah.
So all of our people, regulars, will come in.
Actually, your dad too. Your dad really told us. He said,
yeah,
your dad included, right? And he's the one that actually. I think he's the one that told us that. He's one of the ones that said we needed to be on ESPN or something like that. He's one of the ones that said it.
It was something like that. He was like, do something with it.
For that. He did. He was like, yeah, y'all sound better than some of these guys on the ESPN. so and again, say it again.
Yeah, I say, yeah, that's how my dad is.
Yeah. Yeah, he threw it out there, and we talked about it. And like eventually, he was like, "Yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see." We talked for 8 hours. We could do an hour. Like, you know what I'm saying? We could talk for 8. We could do an
hour is easy.
Our problem is we go too long because the conversation just flows.
That's what everybody keeps telling us. They were like, "Y'all split this up.
Y'all cut that down. Y'all talk for
it's hard.
2 hours. How do you talk for 2 hours about some sports? Look, that's us cutting it down from what we used to talk a whole work shift. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So so it's a love. And bouncing off what you said as regards to chasing your dreams until you can't chase them no more. Make sure there's something you love and not something that you feel like you have to do. Do it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
Do it because it makes you feel good. It makes you it takes your mind off whatever stress you got going on in your life.
Absolutely.
That'd be my advice to anyone that asks, well, how do I get into what you're doing? And like, well, first of all, is that what you want to do? Don't do it because I'm doing it.
Don't do it because we do it.
No. Because it's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
Everything is not for everybody. I'm sorry?
Yeah, if you're not someone, that's the thing. If you're not someone that can't talk about sports for 8-9 hours straight, then doing an hour talk show with somebody, that's probably not for you every day. Nah,
because you're gonna get tired of it. You're gonna be like, man, I gotta do this. You ain't gonna feel like work. You're like, I don't want to do a podcast today.
Exactly.
For example, with me and Tom, I'd rather it be like how it is with us. If we do one, say Monday, I may call. We talk almost every day. I'll call them too. They be like, hey, you see what such and such did last night? That triple double. Should we do another one today, or should we wait it out? I'd rather him be like, either yeah or like, let's wait one more day. Not that he didn't want to do it. He's like, but we'll get some more content. Let that marinate, and something else will probably happen between now and tomorrow, and we'll add it in and make a bigger show out of it the next day. Versus him saying, you know what, Ty, I don't really feel like doing a show. I ain't really, you know what I mean? I'm chilling right now. I'm playing 2K right now. I don't really want to do no podcast. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure that whatever I did business-wise, I'm with passionate people that like and love what they do. And even in talking to you, our conversation went the way it did the first go around because I picked up that we have similar interests in the media and journalism. Once you told me what you was going to Valpo for, and I told you about my Ball State experience. So it was just like, well, okay, there's that. And we both have obviously love for the game. So we could talk about basketball forever. It never gets old. Now, what I did was when we started this podcast, because it was just basketball only.
Yeah.
When I brought in Antonio, I knew in the back of my mind, I said, I have to get him to talk football because not only will that expand my conversation, it gives the show another dynamic that it didn't have.
Yeah, you came a long way with football.
In a year.
Basic. You just do a little bit.
in the beginning, it was like I let him do all the talking. I just was like, oh, word? Oh, okay, bet. Because I would do the basketball part because I played basketball all my life. I know the sport, I know the game. Football is like, But in a year's time, though, I feel like I picked up a lot just by doing this podcast, man.
Yeah.
Right? So not only do I love what I do, I'm learning each and every day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I never stop learning.
That's the key. I mean, I think like that's the key when it comes to really life in general, but in terms of sports, like, 'cause I think the game evolves so much, the players evolve so much, how teams work evolves. So you really have to look at the entire total aspect of understanding how each and every team is going and how it's headed in the future. Like I think the number one thing that I believe a lot of executives are really good at is they're really good at determining a future. How good is a future going to be? How is this player going to look in the future? How is all this and all that stuff is really important.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, not to get too far away from what you mentioned earlier about COVID, because obviously 2020 was all about COVID, and we all know how the NBA bubble was a success. There was like no cases in Disney hardly that were enough to threaten to shut the season down again.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward to this season that started literally 72 days after the Lakers were crowned the 2019-2020 champions. And we have COVID running crazy throughout the league right now. I know you've been keeping up with it. I want to know what's your take on it, because obviously teams like the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics game got canceled last night due to the Heat not having enough players, because the Heat didn't have enough players to be active. They didn't have 8 players to play last night. What's your take on it? And do you feel like the NBA will be able to get through this season, or will we have to do another bubble before the end of the season? What's your thought?
Well, interestingly enough, obviously with a lot of NBA stuff and college basketball stuff, I'm in it firsthand. So the first night of the NBA, my brother knows that they were supposed to play, and my brother was getting ready for the game, and he had me and my mom do the ice bath the night before, and he was getting ready to play, and all of a sudden, as soon as he's about to leave the house, they said there's no game. They said you have to be in quarantine for 4 days because they got contact traced. So, they missed the first 2 games of the season. And, to me, that kind of just showed me that there is a lot of precaution, and there's going to be a lot of, unsettling things that are going to happen, maybe in the future. So the thing that I'm most concerned about is the number of games that are missed by players, because, they got lucky because, number one, no one actually got COVID except for one player on their roster. But I can't imagine if an entire team, well, not an entire team, because most players have gotten COVID or whatever the case may be. Right. But if a lot of players are, get COVID and it's, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and that's missing. I mean, if it's a long stretch when they're doing these back-to-back games, you could be missing up to 7, 8, 9 games, and it's a shortened season, and that can really swing a season. So sometimes you may just look up and you may say, wow, like the Lakers have only won, 20 games. They got off to a great start, but, it's halfway through the season. I would think that they'd be better, but they know, half the team has been here, half the team has been quarantined. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this is going to play a major role, but I do think that they'll finish the season just because I think that the NBA has done an incredible job of being a players league. And, this year is really all about the players, and so is the bubble.
Right. So
has it really affected your team though?
Yes, it has affected my team greatly. So in terms of my college team, yeah. So, that's it was tough for us. It really was, because I really feel like, and, obviously we haven't made any excuses, but we go into Vanderbilt, which is already a pretty tough game because, the court is different. It's the first game of the year. We go there, we lose by 5, and we had to quarantine for 2 weeks before.
Oh, wow.
And we just weren't in good shape. Then we go down. Yeah, then we go down to Purdue. We're up by, like 8 at halftime, and we just kind of got really tired, ran out of gas. They got all those big guys down there, and we end up losing by like 5 or 6 to them. So then, you're just like, man, like it's pretty tough. Then we had to quarantine for 2 weeks again over Christmas. So we had to quarantine for 2 weeks. Then we play against the number 2 team in our conference, Missouri Valley. I believe that they're a top 25. Missouri State, I believe that they're a top 25 team now. I think the rankings just came out now, because now Drake is number, I think, 12, and they are, I believe, 15-0. And Missouri State's pretty good. They are, I believe, 10 or 11-1. So it was pretty tough. So it's definitely affected my team to start.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you bounce back from that? Because it seems like every time you get a rhythm, you got to quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
How do you mentally
and it's tough
bounce back from that?
Yeah, and it's tough because when you have to go through that process of waiting out for 2 weeks, it's really tough because they say you have to quarantine. So it's not like the toughest part is they say you think, okay, you're just not going to play for 2 weeks. No, it's different. It's different from you're just not going to play where you can still practice, shoot around, get in the gym, go over plays versus you have to just stay home. Like the toughest thing to do is to stay home for 2 weeks, not touch the basketball. Really can't really, you could work out, but it's not the same. And to go play against an
Actual
SEC
workout.
school and then a Big Ten. Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously, you play against the SEC school and the Big Ten school and you sit out for 2 weeks. And, now it's just, it is what it is. But, it's tough. You really can't just go into the game like, we have to, push ourselves. It's really not even about, the other team at this point. It's really about, trying to police ourselves when we play and, try to do the right thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the collegiate level, since you're at your last year playing for Valpo, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're aware that today, Monday, January 11th, the NBA G League draft is today.
Mm-hmm.
You familiar with that? Are you familiar with the G League draft being today? Are you familiar with the G League draft being today? Okay.
Yeah.
So being that not all the G League teams are in, some teams have opted out, so it's less spots available.
Mm-hmm.
Add in the fact that they got players that skipped the college route and went straight to the G League that are in this draft. They got players like Lance Stevenson, Michael Beasley. Obviously, Jeremy Lin came back from overseas, and he's with the Warriors. Just name a few names that are former NBA stars that are actually free agents that can be drafted as well. With it being less teams in the G League, do you feel that will impact the G League in a positive way or a negative way based on them having less roster spots available for this draft?
Oh, well, I definitely think leagues are a lot better, larger. I mean, you take a look at the NFL and NBA. When they made those expansion teams, the league got better. So I think it's definitely hurting the G League. Me personally, I think it's important for every single, major league team, whether it's baseball, football, to have some sort of minor league or some sort of practice squad. But with the cards that are dealt now, the G League really can't do that much because a lot of teams are opting out because they can't financially support it. And the NBA doesn't want to be into a situation where, they can't financially support or they're losing money because they still have to pay the players the contracts.
Right. Is there anybody?
So, yeah, I think it's going to be better.
You think it will be better with less teams or it won't be?
No, it won't be. But I think it's a better decision for them to make financially.
Yeah. No question. Is there any prospects, anybody that you may have hooped with or kept in contact with that's in this potential G League draft today that we need to look out for?
Oh, well, obviously my teammate, my old roommate, Miles Powell. He went a little under the radar, but he was one of the top scorers in the country last year. I think he definitely deserves his shot. I think he deserves a shot in the NBA. Obviously, I'm not sure how well he's going to do in terms of his size and him being a little limited in terms of that, but I think he's good enough, and I think all he really needs is a chance. I think a lot of people tend to overlook guys like that, guys that are, 4-year players, a guy that's not that, big or no athletic. But I think, there's been a lot of guys like CJ McCollum and Steph Curry and Damian Lillard. A lot of those guys went to small schools and he was at a big school. So I think someone like that should be pretty good. I think Marcus Howard, he should be pretty good. If I was him, I would probably go overseas because I think his game fits better overseas. But Marcus Howard averaged 28 points in college. So it really doesn't get that much better than that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Did you by chance follow any of the 2020 NBA draft? Was there anybody in this draft that just passed for the NBA that you like may have been in contact with that we should be keeping an eye out on for their rookie season?
People that I per se know.
That you may have been like scouting or you like their game and you feel like they were NBA ready as a rookie.
Obviously, everyone knows, the Ball family. I personally know,
Yeah, of course.
Lonzo, and I worked out with Jello a little bit when he was coming off the injury in LA in 2019. But, obviously everyone knows them. I think Edwards is a pretty solid player. I think he actually reminds me a little bit of my brother in certain ways, coming out of high school.
Okay.
Who else? Yeah, in terms of young, there's a lot of young guys that are 2-year guys that I think are really good. Me personally, I think Tyler Hero is going to be a really good player. Because I know that he's been in trade talks, but I really like Tyler Hero a lot. Who else?
Sometimes being in trade talks means you're good, though. Sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes being in trade talks means you're showing up. You got value.
Yeah.
I think they want to get rid of you.
The phones are ringing because we want Hero. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
but in terms of this rookie class, this year's rookie class to me has been a lot of guys that have been a little bit of teetering between prospects and just the overall grand scheme of things. This year's draft is it's really tough. I do like Obi Toppin a lot, but I'm not sure how well his game translates. And a lot of the issue was, they didn't do a lot of, summer league and pre-draft workouts.
Right. True.
So you're missing out a lot. Yeah, you're going a lot off of, what happened overseas or what happened in college. And it's a different game. Not saying that, the college game is nowhere close as good, which I don't think that the college game is. I don't think that the college game translates really well with the NBA, like how I think a lot of people think. But I think that it's really hard to grade someone in college based on their pro potential.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned Obi Toppin, and of course we know about Melo Ball being the youngest player to hit a triple-double in NBA history.
Since his brother. I like that.
Yeah. Well, Lonzo hit that record too, but for him to beat his brother's record, that was dope as well. You did bring up LiAngelo. He is in the draft today as well for the G League. I don't know if you knew that or not, but he'll be in today's draft as well.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I know he had ankle surgery and he had to rehab that out. So
that it was so crazy. It's like when I was out in LA, his first workout back, I was working out with him, and it was crazy because obviously I don't really keep up with a lot of the stuff that they do, but once I saw him, I started keeping up with some of the stuff like the reality TV show a little bit. And it was really cool because I saw one episode like when it first came out, like 2017.
I
was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I never really paid any attention to it. And then when I saw him and they had the TV crew cameras around, I was like, dang, what is all this and stuff? And then the trainer told me, like they have a reality TV. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I didn't know it was this big, but
it blew up. It gets views.
Yeah. I didn't know it was that big at first. I was like, dang, because I remember it like I do, because I was a sophomore in college when it first came out.
Right.
And it was a lot smaller. Like it was like a regular like little Facebook show that they did. But when they came in, they had like 7 or 8 camera crews. I'm like, whoa.
That's LA for you.
I was like, whoa, I didn't know it was all like that.
So with that being said,
I say it was good. I think that he's extremely underrated as a player.
I agree.
He could bring.
So do you.
Yeah.
I think he could bring value to an NBA team.
Definitely. He's the best shooter out of all 3 of them. As far as his form, he's got the best form.
I think he's the best shooter. Obviously he has some really bad deficiencies that I think will get exploited in the NBA. Like he's never been a great defender, and I think in terms of the one-on-one defense in the NBA, he would get driven pretty much every time. But I do think that with him having a big body, him being able to play as stretch 4, he could bring value to quite a few teams in the NBA right now. I really believe that.
Okay.
Especially as a backup small ball 4. So like if he was playing with a team like the Pistons and you wanted to play Blake Griffin at the 5, you could throw LiAngelo at the small ball 4.
Right.
That's probably why they really signed him too.
That's why they was there. That's why they was. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So with COVID throwing the rosters off, because certain obviously certain teams only have a handful of players or they don't have enough at all. Who are you expecting to win the 2021 NBA championship? As of right now,
this is a tough one.
Take your time.
Obviously, as of right now, yeah. As of right now, obviously everyone's favorite is the Lakers, and that's probably going to be.
Don't
my
tell
favorite.
this man that. Man.
Thank you.
Of all the teams, you come on. Man.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I'm talking about as of right now.
You guys say the right answer, man.
It's got to be the Lakers. In terms of their versatility, in terms of how they can defend. Like, man, I was watching them against the Rockets yesterday. They can defend. They can defend the ball.
That was a good game.
Well. I don't even think it's necessarily off. Yeah, it's just they guard so well defensively that they don't even need to rely on players making shots.
Yeah.
Like Miami and LA, there's a reason why they were in the finals last year, and it's because of their defense, not really because of their offense. I think that there are better offensive teams in the league than those two, but defensively, they don't need a lot.
I agree. I'm Miami guy myself, so I feel you.
So
on
that's
that.
my pick right now.
First of all, don't be this. I like Miami too,
Yeah.
but not the Lakers.
Nah, you Laker Nation. Don't try to no. Nah. This Heat Nation over here. This Heat culture around here. But so speaking of Houston, since you brought up Houston, what's your take on the Russell Westbrook John Wall trade? Was it good, bad?
Oh, I think that they both.
What was your take on that?
I thought it was good.
I did too.
I thought it was good.
I did too.
Well, I thought it was good. Obviously, I love Westbrook, but I think he wanted to have a similar role to what he had before. And I think, with John Wall coming off of surgery, I'm not sure if he wanted to have the same role as before. And it worked out both ways, I believe.
That was a win-win. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. In all reality, when the Rockets have their full team, they are, I believe, like 4-1 when they had their entire roster. So the first real loss with everyone that they had was yesterday against the Lakers. So they're still looking to me pretty good. I know their overall record is like 4-6, but 5 of those games they didn't have their entire team.
Yeah, right. Todd blaming all on James Harden anyway.
Yeah, James Harden was out for 2 games. My brother and John Wall and Boogie were out for like 3 games. So that was the first game back with everybody. So it worked out both ways. And I think, John Wall is happy in Houston, which is really good. And I think that Westbrook is happy in Washington right now. So I think it worked out.
Are you sure about that last one at 2-7? You sure about that?
He might be happy with Scott Brooks.
Who, with the Wizards? I still think he's happy. Yeah. No, I still think that Westbrook is happy. I don't think that, he's obviously not ecstatic because they're 2-7, but I think that right now, I don't think, like, if he said, would you rather be in Houston right now? I think he would still say, I'd rather be in Washington.
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah. Huh. Tom, what else we got? What else we got to cover on basketball?
You see any teams like on the come up in the NBA?
Yeah.
Like it's dark horse?
You want to see anybody on the come up? Yeah, there's a couple players, Obviously, a lot of people are talking about Sabonis right now. I really like Sabonis. I think that he should be all-star starter this year from what he's doing. Obviously, I think that a lot of people aren't really looking at this. I think Joel Embiid has a chance to be MVP this year. He's been playing out of his mind. And I think Ben Simmons, he's playing pretty good too. So I think for me, those 3 have been – and they're all in the East too. So those 3 have been, the most impressive to me to start the year out as up and comers, even though that they all been in the league for, 5 years or so, or 4 or 5 years, 6 years or so. But I think that they have really showed a huge improvement. In terms of just really young guys, with the Brooklyn, the kid from Iowa State, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I always mess it up. The
King.
Funky Shot King.
Halliburton.
You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Halliburton. I always mess up his name. I really like him. I think he's going to be really good. I really do. Has a really weird shot, but I think he's going to be one of those guys. And I think 2 or 3 years, you're going to be like, wow, he's a pretty good player, maybe an all-star. Obviously, I think Jaylen Brown is going to be. I think personally, I think Jaylen Brown is probably Boston's best player. And I think that Jaylen Brown is probably the best, possibly the best two guard in the East right now.
Jason Tatum has entered the chat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum has something to say about that.
I thought them all came from Utah.
I like Jason Tatum. I really do. But I just think that when it comes to what Jaylen Brown does on both ends, and this is me, I'm not sure if it's just because I'm in like season mode, but I feel like when I'm in a season, defense matters so much to me. Now, when I'm in the off season, I just want to see guys make crazy shots, get crossed over, get dunked on. But when it's in the season, I don't know what it is, but defense means so much if you're trying to win games. Because I just feel like when you're in the game, you count on someone to give you, 25 points and lock up the best player. That to me, that means a lot.
Right.
Because in reality, they're both averaging the same. I think Jaylen Brown averages around like 24, 25, and I think Jason Tatum averages like 25, 26 or something. So they're pretty much doing virtually very similar, but the running offense for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown is doing so much defensively. And he's I just think that he's getting it done on both ends.
That's fair. He is the better defender. I agree with that. He is the better defender.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got here. So, of course, for yesterday's games, we had the Jazz beat the Pistons 96-86. We already projected that on the podcast. It got deleted. Yeah, Zoom. I got a bone to pick with y'all. Zoom, if you're listening, I need my podcast back from yesterday. Send it to my email, Gmail.
Yeah, they lost.
They lost my podcast. But anyway. As we predicted on the podcast that nobody has seen because it's unreleased and lost, but Zoom. But anyway, Jazz won 96-86. Clippers. Oh my God, Clippers. Oh my God. I'm so glad I'm not a Clippers fan right now. Oh my God. Oh,
that's your guy, Playoff P, man.
Yeah,
Who? Playoff P.
Yeah.
Ain't my guy. I don't know that.
Struggling for sure.
The fact that they almost lost to the Bulls, and this ain't Michael Jordan's Bulls. Hell, this ain't even Jay Williams' Bulls. Hell, this ain't even D Rose's Bulls. This is Zach LaVine's Bulls. Okay.
Kawhi saved them.
I heard.
Yeah.
He had to save them. They was losing.
I heard. I seen the footage.
Yeah, it was bad.
I seen the footage of him going down with his knee hurting and got back up like nothing happened. Yeah, I saw that too. But 127 to 130. I'm gonna tell you right now, Clippers, y'all in trouble. If anybody from Clipper Nation is watching this, y'all in trouble.
He has a grudge with Paul George too. So.
Y'all basically lost to the Bulls last night because it shouldn't be that close. You should beat the Bulls by at least 20. At least 20. The fact that they
Lakers almost lost them too. So
the fact that they kept up with y'all like that and y'all only won by 3 points and y'all supposed to be going after the Lakers with performances like this, y'all gonna forever be in the basement of Staples Center. Y'all not ever coming up to the main floor. No, never. Laker Nation forever. Anyway, the Nuggets showed up looking like Denver last night. Apparently,
cost me a parlay.
114 to 89 against the Knicks. Hey, don't sleep on the Knicks, Aaron. Listen to me now.
No, the Knicks are good.
You didn't mention them in the come up, but the Knicks is on the come up. Knicks might go to the playoffs this year.
That's not the come up though. I mean,
that's a dark horse though.
The dark horse.
Yeah.
Thibodeau, listen, let me put it to you like this. Coach Thibodeau don't miss the playoffs. And when he does,
here's what I'm saying.
It ain't very often.
I don't think that they're a factor like how the Thunder were last year. I don't think that they're at that level.
I didn't say that though. I didn't say that though.
But like when I think of dark horse, that's what I think of. Like I'm thinking of like you can squeeze in and lose to a 1 seed in 4 games.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking of a dark horse. Like I think of like Portland Trailblazers last year, the Thunder last year. Like that's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking a team that's just gonna squeeze in like
Get in
the
there.
Hornets did when they played against the Heat, lost in 4 games.
Okay. So
like I believe like that was like 5-6 years ago.
So
yeah, like I don't believe that I don't think that that's a dark horse.
Okay, based on your criteria.
Because you gotta remember, 18 gotta make it.
Based on your criteria.
Well, technically 10 because they got play-ins too.
Right. Scratch that.
Yeah.
Scratch that. Let's go 1 through 8. Let's keep it simple because the play-in makes everything more complicated than it has to be.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm gonna give you 2 teams, one from the East, one from the West, that I feel is a dark horse based on your definition. And I want to see if you agree or not.
Yeah.
For the West, your dark horse is Phoenix.
Yes.
Is that a dark horse though?
Yeah.
Because you expect it though. We already talked about it.
Time out.
We didn't expect him in the playoffs.
Hold on. You and me said after what he did in the bubble, he went 8-0 in the bubble. You gotta go to the playoffs now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the world does not think Phoenix is going to the playoffs this year.
The NBA world, I give you that.
Outside of here, we know.
Yeah.
He knows, but they don't. So he understands that. So you agree Phoenix is a dark horse. With CP3 on your roster, with Devin Booker, you're not having to play the point guard.
Phoenix and I guess Pacers on the East. I'm not sure if they're considered a dark horse because they're still really good, but they're a dark horse.
That's like first championship.
They were like what, number 2 or 3?
Yeah, they're number 2 as of last time I checked.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm gonna need you to not say that again because you're gonna jinx them. And what's gonna happen is, let me tell you what happened. You're gonna sit here. Hold on, this episode gonna drop, and you're gonna say Pacers is a dark horse to make some noise in the playoffs this year and get out.
They gonna play Miles Turner when it don't happen.
And hold on. They're gonna hear it because I know people at the Pacers. I know they be watching my podcast, so they're gonna get back to the players. And Miles Turner, listen,
I think he's gonna play Miles Turner.
Miles Turner is gonna go from a post-up player that he's been doing very, very well, very efficient, and he's gonna find his way back to that perimeter, shooting threes again. And I'm gonna have to have a word. I'm gonna call you and I'll be like, "See, this is your fault. I'm blaming you." If Eron hadn't let y'all know, see, sometimes when you're doing good, you don't need nobody to stroke your ego and say you're doing good. Sometimes you need somebody to look like, man, you ain't even playing hard. You don't want it. You don't want to win. Y'all don't want to win. Y'all ain't even going hard like that. You can do better. I see you do better. You dropped 20 games.
I think the Pacers, if you say dark horse, that's more like a title contender.
For them, that's like a championship. Don't say that.
Because they always go to the playoffs.
I think that they're a dark horse for that.
Eron, come on, man. You said, Eron, I'm gonna have to cut that out the video. You know, I'm gonna have to edit that out the video.
Yeah.
I don't want them to know. They're not supposed when you want somebody to feel like they are special. You don't want to give a girl. You got your girl. You give your girl a gift for your anniversary, but you don't want her to know what it is. You're gonna put a blindfold on her. Take her out the door. Right? You don't just walk her out there with her eyes all open because then you're taking away the surprise, the element of surprise.
So the Pacers element of surprise now.
Right, it ain't no surprise now because he just said it twice, so now it's solidified now. See, the first time he said it, it could have been like, he was tripping. He was talking about another thing. He wasn't talking about y'all. He said it. No, for real. The Pacers are the dark horse. No, don't tell him that. Portland can actually get out of and actually make noise this year. You don't tell them that.
Oh,
yeah.
Let them show it. Let him and CJ drop 60 points apiece. Let them do that. Okay? Let them do that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I want the Pacers to work quietly. I don't want nobody to pay no attention to us.
There we go.
I want everybody to count us out. They go, Miles Turner about to get traded. I want them to think that they're gonna dismantle the whole team. That way, when they get to the playoffs, the team that they play against in round 1 ain't gonna be prepared for them. They're gonna be like, "Oh, it's just the Pacers." Ain't nothing. And then when they get knocked out in the first round by the Pacers,
that's because you've been a Pacers fan, though.
I am a Pacers fan.
I know.
I am.
Speak with your heart.
But I'm tired of them losing when they have all the talent to win. Like he said, they have the talent. They have the talent.
Yeah.
But when you have Larry Bird in the office running things, making decisions for you,
even when he is.
Even when he's not, he still is. I don't have to say anything bad about Larry Bird being the Hall of Famer that he is, but his track record as basketball operations and a general manager and even as a coach speaks for itself. So I'm just gonna leave that there. You can do your own research on Larry Bird outside of being a Boston Celtic.
Right.
Three-time champion, 3-point champion, and all the other great things, and MVP and all the other great things that he's done in his basketball career. His professional managing career and team building career, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. I'm not even going to get into that. So let's move on. So we got the OKC Thunder beating the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant back on the roster, and he dropped 30 plus and still lost. 129-116. Your thoughts, Mr. Gordon? I'm gonna let you go first. I already know what I'm about to say. I'll let you go.
Be disrespectful.
I mean, right now I think it's so early in the season that
these games. Thank you.
Get out of here.
I just think these games right now, it's really early. But here's the thing: I do think that the Brooklyn Nets they really do. They have to sharpen up their defense.
Thank you. Oh, he said it. All right, cool.
It will become a problem. I think it will become a problem because they obviously don't have the greatest perimeter defense because we all know Kyrie is not the greatest defender. LeVert's not the best defender. Dinwiddie's hurt, so obviously they have good, interior defense. They probably have the second best interior defense other than the Lakers in the league. I mean, their interior defense is really good. But
you're being nice.
Outside of just the paint, their defense is lackluster at best.
You was being nice by saying they got the second or third best interior. I would have said maybe middle of the
think they do.
Like 12.
They got Jared Allen.
They got Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan, and KD.
Yeah.
Can I break it down for you? DeAndre Jordan is a dinosaur.
He's still great.
Hold on. Jared Allen is a shell of himself because he's not starting because DeAndre is starting for what reason I do not know. Kevin Durant lost his defense because of his Achilles, so he can't go hard like he wants to. He's afraid he's gonna pop his Achilles again.
We're talking about rim protection in general.
Thank you.
Their rim protection is still pretty good. I take their rim protection over really any other team besides
12 rebounds apiece.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You play basketball right now. You gonna sit there and play like the NBA is not a 3-point shootout. What is interior defense when every team got 3-point shooters?
That's very true. But here's the thing I will say. If I'm a guard in the NBA, I would love to play with Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan and Kevin Durant on the back end of the defense. I would love to play with that. But the issue is I think that as a team, it's something strategic. They have to defend much better.
I agree with that. But when you have a coach that didn't play defense in Steve Nash, when you have an assistant coach in Mike D'Antoni that is an offensive mastermind, not a defensive mastermind, there's no leadership saying, "Hey, I need you to buy in on defense."
Yeah, that's just probably not going to happen.
Because I mean, who gonna speak up and say you should play defense in Brooklyn? Jock Vaughn, who listening to him right now? He's like third or fourth in command. Ain't nobody listening to him.
He's fourth because Amari Stoudemire too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Thank you. Fourth. He's the fourth man in charge. Who cares? You just there to get a check, bro. You just there for a check. So no, I knew. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I knew the Nets were in trouble when they lost to Atlanta. The way they lost to Atlanta, I was like,
speaking of a dark horse,
that's a dark horse.
That's my dark horse.
That's a dark horse for you.
That is a dark horse.
They going to the playoffs this year. Come hell or high water, they going to the playoffs this year.
I think the Atlanta probably should go. I think that they have a really high chance to go to the playoffs. What are they right now? They are the 6th.
I think they're. Yeah, I don't know. I know they're like 500 right now.
Yeah, I think they're 6th in the East.
Let me check that for you.
They gotta get consistent shooting.
Yeah.
Nah, right now they are 11.
What?
I think they lost a couple because they ain't consistent shooting.
They 4-5 right now.
I knew they were playing 500.
Oh yeah, I forget that they play these back-to-back double games. Because I looked at the thing like 2 days ago, and I know how these things go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Standings, because you play 2 games, you lose 2 or something, and another team wins 2.
In that you jump up and down.
Yeah. So right now, just to give you guys a framework, even though, like he said, it's subject to change every day. The 76ers are 7-3.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics are 7-3. Pacers are 6-3. Magic are 6-4. Bucks are 6-4. Knicks are 5-5. They're 500. And the Heat are 4-4. Cavaliers are 5-5. Hornets are 5-5. Nets are 5-6 due to the loss last night. Hawks 4-5. Bulls 4-7. Raptors 2-7. Pistons 2-8. And Wizards 2-8. Ouch. Poor Westbrook.
Yeah.
Poor Westbrook.
Poor Bradley Beal.
Free Bradley Beal till Bradley Beal is free. Oh man, get that man out of DC. Please get him out of DC. Somebody come get this man. Now on the West, you got the Lakers 8-3. You got the Suns 7-3, Clippers 7-4, Jazz 6-4, Warriors 6-4, Mavs 5-4, Trailblazers 5-4, Thunder 5-4, Spurs 5-5, Nuggets 5-5, Pelicans 4-5. Kings 4-6, Rockets 3-5, Grizzlies 3-6, and Timberwolves 3-7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because I think once there's about 20 games, I think you'll be able to see where teams are truly at.
Playoff picture.
So right now, obviously, with games getting canceled, you'll start seeing a real playoff picture about 25 games in, 20 games, and I'd say 25 just to be sure. I'm obviously not one of those guys that say, you guys start looking at the playoff picture in like March. I'm like, no, that takes me from the fun of it all. Like, who wants to only talk about the playoff picture when it's almost already done? But I think like when you really start talking about the playoff picture, you really want to start 20 games in at least.
I agree with that. Okay. I agree with that. But like I said to you earlier, Phoenix is number 2 right now, and I hope they stay up there. I would love to see them up there at number 2.
I think they'll probably be at least in the top 5 by, I want to say, by February.
I'm okay with that.
February will be top.
As long as they don't face LeBron in the first round, I'm perfectly fine with that.
For sure.
Perfectly fine with that. So, let's see here. Let's go back to the games from last night. So, are these last? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, due to obviously the Heat and Celtic game got canceled, so of course they postponed that. Lakers won 120-102 against the Rockets. Of course, we already touched on that. Timberwolves did get another win last night against the Spurs, 96-88. I think DeMar DeRozan's about to get traded by the trade deadline. Me and Tone had discussed that on the podcast that never came out because I can't find it. Yes, Zoom, I'm talking to you. I need you to get my podcast
you ain't
back.
Get off their head, huh?
Nah, I ain't getting off their head. So that's the first time they ever stole a podcast. I need to put it right back. They need to put it right back where you found it. Put it back where you found it. Now, and the Warriors, I gotta address this. I didn't want to because this particular player is such a great shooter. I shouldn't have to have this conversation with him, but I'm going to. The Warriors barely won last night, 106-105. Steph Curry only had 11 points, and I believe it was 2 of 15 from the field.
It was like his worst game ever, yeah.
Yeah.
Dumpster fire. Terrible.
No.
Well, games like that are going to happen. You'll see that with Curry and these Warriors, you're going to see him go for 62 one night and 11 the next and 8 the next and 52 the next because he's having to play a different role for his team. I think he's going to play so much. Well, I know that he's been playing so much more with the ball in his hands, and you get a lot more predictable when you play with the ball in your hands versus out of your hands. And a lot of people don't really look at this type of stuff. When you are able, that's the reason why Kevin Durant to me is so effective. Obviously, he's 7 foot, can shoot, but the reason why he's so hard to stop is because he plays unpredictably. that's the difference between him and LeBron, because my brother has had to guard both of them. He's had to guard both of them an entire series. And the difference between the two, which it's not necessarily, a knock on LeBron, but you knew what LeBron was going to do. You knew exactly what his strengths were. He was going to have the ball in his hands his entire time. He was going to drive left. He's going to make plays, and, the offense was going to run through him. With KD, you didn't know what he was going to do. You didn't know if he was going to bring it up. You didn't know if he was going to post up. He shoot the three. And that's the thing with Curry right now, is that they don't have a lot of, ball handling right now on their team. So right now, if I'm the Warriors, I'm saying, Wiggins, you got to start bringing it up a little bit more. Oubre, you got to start making some more plays, because I want Curry to play without the ball, because everyone knows Curry as a point guard, but he's not nowhere near as effective as when he's playing off the ball. A lot of people have to remember that's the reason why Curry does so well when Draymond Green is there. It's not because Draymond Green is that good. People think no, Draymond Green is so good for Curry because he's able to take on the point guard duties, letting Curry play off the ball, on the ball, being able to switch things up. I believe it's easy to guard Curry versus a lot of other superstars when he has the ball in his hands. But it's very hard when you have to chase him around screens, when he's running up the court and you have to try to find him. That's a lot harder. And that's what you guys are seeing a lot right now. That's the reason why his scoring is so up and down, because he's very predictable to guard. So when he's hitting, he's going to have the ball in his hand. So he's going to be able to probably score more than he normally would. But when he's not, it's going to look worse.
And that's because no Clay.
No Clay.
Yeah. No Clay. Because here's the thing. It's not necessarily – I know they're a better team with Clay, because now, they can defend. Clay can make shots. But with Curry individually, even if Clay was there, if they don't have Draymond, it's still so tough on Curry, because he struggles when he has to make a lot of plays. When Curry has to make a ton of plays consistently with the ball in his hands, it wears him down. He has to go get the ball out of bounds. A lot of people don't realize that when you play point guard, especially at a high level, when you have to guard the person, guard pickup, come back around, loop around, come get the ball out of bounds, come make a play, guard stop, it's a lot harder. It's so much harder. And that's the reason why Steph has been so good, because he's able to be a hybrid.
Okay.
Well, I got some breaking news, fellas. Breaking news from ESPN about today, and a game from today and a game for tomorrow. The Pelicans-Mavericks game for tonight has been postponed because Dallas doesn't have 8 eligible players today.
Mm-hmm.
For tomorrow, the Celtics and Bulls game got canceled, or they say postponed, due to the protocol as well. And to you, Tone, Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Browns, is likely to resume duties on Thursday based on him getting negative tests after he missed the wild card game, even though they won. They beat the Steelers, and we're going to talk about that later. Without him even being there, which is why I believe he's coach of the year, and I'm going to explain why later. But they're saying he's doing good. He should be able to get back with the team on Thursday to go ahead and resume duties going into – is it Saturday they play Kansas City, or is it Sunday?
One of them. I have to look it up again.
Don't worry, we'll get to that. But yeah, I'm getting these notifications as y'all was talking. I'm like, oh man, games are getting canceled left and right. Oh boy. So it's cool.
There's probably still enough. There's enough time that they can make games up.
Yeah.
That's a plus. At least they got time to make it up. But let's go into those are all the games from last night. Now we're gonna go into today's matchups if they don't get postponed.
Like it's still early in the day.
This is a tentative schedule here, okay? These games may or may not go down tonight due to COVID. So first up, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we got Bucks going against Orlando. We got the Grizzlies and Cavaliers. We got the Suns going against the Wizards. Knicks going against the Hornets. 76ers, Hawks. Raptors and Trailblazers. Pacers and your Sacramento Kings. Because nobody else cares about them more than you.
My Sacramento King. Now it's my Sacramento Kings. I like De'Aaron. I like De'Aaron Fox.
That's the Sacramento guy right there. Yeah, that's your guy. You want to know anything about Sacramento? He's your guy.
All right.
He's your guy. So out of these matchups, if I'm looking at it just strictly off of just who's playing matchup wise, I can just my predictions. If the games happen, of course, these is tentative. I say Bucks.
Of course you do.
Cavaliers, which is crazy that I just said that, but Grizzlies no job. They play the Grizzlies with no Ja Morant.
They playing with heart though. Grizzlies playing with heart.
Phoenix over the Wizards, clearly. Hornets over the Knicks. I hate that I had to say that because I like both teams. I'm an underdog. Then
they just play each other?
I think it was a back-to-back or something like that. Yeah,
I thought they just played.
I'm pretty sure the Hornets are gonna win this game just because they know who they playing. And I mean, nothing against the Knicks. Knicks is great. I like underdogs, but Charlotte's underdog too, but they're slightly better. They're a little more flashier too.
I agree.
76ers over the Hawks. If everybody's playing, if not,
I don't think they are.
The Hawks are playing. If it's the same 7 or 8 players from this weekend, then Atlanta's gonna dog walk them.
Yeah, I heard Ben Simmons is out today. I did hear that.
In that case, Atlanta's probably gonna win that game.
I don't know about Embiid, but I know Simmons is out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go Atlanta. Yeah, Raptors and Trailblazers. Trailblazers all day long. The Raptors are a shell of themselves. No Marc Gasol, no Serge Ibaka, so therefore you have no front court. And that's no shot at Aaron Baines. I like Aaron Baines. I like them in Boston. I like them in Boston. I kind of like them in Phoenix. He looked okay. He looked like he lost a step. He didn't really fit their offense like that. Now he's in Toronto. He's undersized. He doesn't do what those two guys do. They expect Aaron Baines and Chris Boucher. I think it's Boucher. Yeah. They expect those two guys to be the new Serge and Marc Gasol, and these two guys cannot be Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka.
Right.
So it's just not going to happen. So I believe Toronto's going to have a down year. I believe they're going to move on from Kyle Lowry. They're going to drop that contract. He's a free agent, I think, after this season. Like I talked to you about that before, Tone, on the podcast. It still hasn't came out. Zoom, I need you to send me that podcast.
Right, I know we talked about it.
Playing with me. But they are going to have a down season. It's time for them to break down the team and rebuild around Van Fleet, rebuild around.
Are you going to the playoffs?
No, I don't. If they do, I don't think so. I don't anticipate. I think they're going to fall out. I think they're going to fall out the playoffs.
I think they can still make it.
They still make it. They're not going to. They'll be a first round knockout.
Okay, and they still gonna. I think they still make it though. They sat at the bottom somewhere. 6.
For me, if I'm Masai Ujiri, that's a trigger that needs to be pulled. Okay, if my team goes from a championship to I missed the conference finals to first round knockout, that means I need to break this team down to the studs and build it back up again. That's what that says to me.
Oh, I mean, Kyle Lowry's first one on the list.
Kyle Lowry's the first one out. I'm not re-signing him. I like Kyle. I like Kyle.
Contract is too big.
He said what?
Contract is too big.
Well, no, his contract expires. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
So I like Kyle.
Move him, though. Yes,
they might not move him before the trade deadline, but I know a team that could use him though. I would too. I'm saying I know a team that could use him. I got 2 teams that could use him. Because there's a couple teams out there that need a point guard that actually can be a true point guard. The Clippers need a point guard badly. Yeah. Clippers is number 1 on my list. Number 1. I don't even like the Clippers, but they really need a point guard. Bad.
Trade him for?
Who would I trade him for?
Yeah.
If I traded for Kyle Lowry, being that he's a champion with a big contract that's expiring, it'll come off the books. I would obviously send Patrick Beverly and Lou Williams to Toronto.
Both of them? Wow. I'm not sure if I can let go of Lou Williams.
Because you can't. Well, first of all, Lou Williams don't want to be there anyway.
Really?
Yeah. It's been reported. There is turmoil in the locker room.
We not have a conversation about Lou Williams on the table, so.
Yeah, Lou Williams definitely on the table. Like, I'm not taking Pat Bev for Kyle Lowry. That's not an equal. That's not fair.
Not straight up.
That's not a straight up. No. I need lemon pepper Lou in Toronto ASAP. I need that.
No, in Tampa. He in Tampa. They in Tampa.
Oh, they in Tampa. I'm sorry. They the South now. They not the North no more. We the South now. They Tampa Bay Raptors now.
Right.
Yeah, they Tampa Bay Raptors. They can't go back. They can't go home. They can't go back to Canada. They can't go home.
It's sad too.
So, if Kyle Lowry's on the table and I'm the Clippers, I need a point guard. I'm giving you that. I'm gonna go ahead and give you Pat Bev. I'm gonna give you Lou. And if I need one more person, which you shouldn't, because Kyle Lowry, but if you do, you gotta look at somebody like I'm trying to think of his name. Is Landry Shamet still on the Clippers?
Nah, he's in Brooklyn.
No, he's in Brooklyn.
He's in Brooklyn now. Okay, he was out there. Okay, it had to be somebody else small, or I need at least one more body to go with that, or a second round pick. They don't have no first rounds for the next like 4 or 5 years. So whatever second round pick you got, you have to give me, because they did that for PG. They sold the whole farm for PG.
I still can't believe they did that.
I still can't believe they paid that man $226 million. That man is not worth $226 million.
That's playoff P, man.
You have to be on some heavy drugs to sign that man to $226 million.
He's still mad
Hoosiers,
about Paul George here.
Us Hoosiers, we know who Paul George is here. We knew who he was before he left here.
Yeah.
We knew he wasn't that guy. Yeah. We knew. The little stunt he pulled in OKC where he was the MVP in the MVP running for like 2 weeks. We knew it was a fluke. Yeah. We like, nah, that's not him. That's not him. He ain't been the same since he broke his leg in the Olympics, okay? That man has not been the same since.
True. That's true.
And he was in the MVP-ish conversation. He was actually having his best playoff series was the year he broke his leg.
Yeah,
before he broke his leg.
Miami,
that was his best playoff run in his career.
14.
He was peak playoff P at that point.
Was that 14?
Yeah, 14. Yep. So, I would at least have to have for that trade. It had to be at least Pat Bev and Lou, and maybe one more person to make it make sense. It might be a third team involved. It might not be a straight up. It might be a 3-team trade just to make the money make sense. But another team that could use Kyle Lowry that I was gonna mention, that needs to get over the hump, and I didn't say this on the podcast that we was talking about, Zoom. But I can see Kyle Lowry in Portland.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
They don't got the money.
I can see that.
I like it though, but they don't got the money.
Kyle Lowry for CJ?
Oh, you know what?
You said important.
I don't know about that.
Well, because Toronto, you're not thinking less than CJ.
Lowry.
You said do what?
You can't play Lillard and Lowry.
That's what I said. I don't see it happening. He said Portland, so if you're gonna do it, you gotta give up CJ. It's not a conversation. I don't know Gary Trent that badly.
Gary Trent, nice though.
I like Gary Trent, but
but he ain't getting the value though.
Exactly.
Okay.
He only three guard. You only 3 small guards.
Yeah.
If you're Portland.
But Lowry is more of a true point guard than Dame is. Dame's not a true point guard.
But you're not starting Dame, Kyle Lowry.
That's the reason why Dame is so effective. Here's the thing: a lot of people have said this. The reason why Dame is effective is because he's shooting from deep because he has the ball. He can't play the 2 guard. Like if I had any other player in the league, I would not play anybody else other than point than Damian Lillard. Even if I had a true traditional point guard or whatever, even if I had Chris Paul, I would still put Chris Paul at the 2 versus Damian Lillard because that's the best part of his game. He's able to bring it down court and be effective as soon as he crosses half court. Like I don't think he's any more dangerous than any other 2 guard once he gets within the 3-point line. Because I think he's ineffective when he shoots. I don't think his pull-up game. People talk about his pull-up game inside the arc as being okay, but it's really just okay, like people say. Like it's not really that good. His strength is coming down, having the ball in his hands, being a threat, being able to come off threes and shoot deep. You know, that's the best part with him. I don't think he's good coming off of a down screen and shooting.
Well, because he's clutch too. That's why they talk about his pull-up game.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. But that's the thing. That's the best part about him is like he's able to be a threat as soon as he catches the ball. Like Curry, it's different because see, that's the reason why people like to compare the two. But the reason why they're not as comparable as people think, Curry does a lot better when he's coming off of a down screen, catching and shooting, someone chasing him, not having the ball in his hand. Like if you talk about who would you rather have giving the ball out, and let's just say you got to come out and hit 3. Oh, it's Damian Lillard any day of the week. But if we talk about coming off of a down screen, coming off of a pick and roll, hopping into your shot. That's Curry all day of the week, any day of the week. That's the reason why he's so effective. That's the reason why he can score better, and his team success does better as Steph Curry does better versus Lillard.
Yeah.
Valid point. Is there any other players? I mean, because one I didn't get a chance to ask you about was for Houston. Do you think James Harden is going to get traded this year, or are they going to keep him? They still got 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah,
What are you
they're probably
hearing?
going to keep him.
They're going to keep him?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, because obviously there have been some false reports about, him wanting to leave. Here's the thing. He's entertained. There's no secret that he's entertained the fact of leaving, but he's never said, I just want out of Houston. He just wants to have a really good scenario. And especially right before the season, because you're seeing like all these trade talks, they've left and went away. But, before the season, he just wasn't too sure. But it's not like, he's saying, I don't want to be a Rocket or whatever. He just wanted to make sure that he was in a really good scenario, and he put the pressure on other teams to try to make a package for him. But he never really was like, he didn't go up to management like how it was said. He just said, he told other teams like, I want to be made available. But it's not like he's pushing the envelope. Now, the Rockets, I do believe that they probably still are looking, but I don't think that they'll trade him. I don't think that there's anything out there for him that the Rockets are going to want to get. And I don't think that me personally, for me being somewhat of an insider, not really an insider, how they like to say in the media, a source.
Right. Yes.
Right.
I don't think that. Yeah, I personally don't think he even wants to leave like that anymore. I think he would rather just stay.
Okay.
I know how big the talks were at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was, and I'll be honest, a lot of it was, I believe that the pressure of everybody was saying, we want you to win. Everyone else is, playing with, other stars and whatnot. We're not sure about John Wall. We're not sure about Cousins. They just came off injuries, so little stuff like that. But, it was really more of that. It was never really the situation.
You're hurting my man's heart, brother. He wants James Harden out of Houston badly.
Really?
He wants him out
badly. Because I mean, your brother plays down there. EJ can give him 20 points a night if he wants to. You know this.
Yeah.
You live with the kid. You know him.
Yeah.
But my thing is this though.
Yeah.
John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins have history. They were Kentucky Wildcats together. You know this. They played together in college.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a revenge year for them to come back together, show the world that look, we went through our injuries, but we're still valuable to the league. I felt like the antics that James Harden was doing at the beginning of the season, missing camp, missing games, not abiding by the COVID protocols on purpose. I felt like he was doing all this to get out of Houston. But what he also does in doing that is ruin the team chemistry by causing antics off the court. You get what I'm saying?
Now, here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing about that. I definitely agree with you on that point. But the issue, obviously, I think he was probably wrong for definitely missing the protocol. But here's the thing. A lot of people say, okay, he was at a friend's birthday party, whatever the case may be. But a lot of the thing is James Harden really wants to be one of those guys that's, in the same name as Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade and all those guys. And what's happening is everyone's telling him that he has to go somewhere else. So naturally, I think he's looking at it as, we don't know about, John Wall and Cousins, and we don't have the same deep roster as some of the years before. So he's looking at it as, I'm trying to get out of here from before. But I think like now, since he's been practicing and he's into it, now all that stuff is probably out of his ear.
That and the phone stopped ringing because teams don't have what the Rockets want for him.
Well, yeah, because I still think that the Rockets are probably still trying to look for something, but I mean, they want to get what's back for them. Like I said, a lot of people don't remember this. Kobe asked for a trade in 2007. I mean, it wasn't like they were saying, "Oh, we're going to get you out of here since you don't want to be here." They're saying, we want you to be here, and Kobe, we want you to want to be here, and we're going to now. Since you said that, we're going to look for options, but we're probably not going to get an option, so you're probably just going to have to wait out.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't talk about him trying to leave and go to Chicago or any of that, but I do remember it though.
Yeah, like a lot of people that's the thing about history of the NBA that people only remember what they want to remember. Right. And it's funny because people don't even remember Michael Jordan's first championship. Magic Johnson only played 2 games, well, really a game and a half, and James Worthy only played half a game. But no one ever says, "Oh, well, he beat a banged up Lakers team. That championship shouldn't count." Now, when some of these other teams, like when Kawhi beat the Warriors, they like to say, "Hey, their first and third best player, whatever, second and third, however you want to classify KD and Steph, they got hurt." But everyone talks about that. But no one wants to say anything about when James Worthy and Magic Johnson, clearly their first and second best player, Hall of Famers, got hurt in the first and second game. Not even like it was like Clay where he got hurt in the 6th game. They got hurt in the first and second game. So, it's crazy how history changes the minds of people over time. Because they don't remember stuff like that.
I agree with that. Tom, you got anything else on the basketball tip you want to cover?
Oh no, that sounds about right. We just still beginning into the season, so we're still getting into it.
Right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch gears, fellas. We're gonna talk about the NFL. We're gonna talk about this wild card weekend because it was a wild weekend. Nothing went the way.
Your NFL here.
But before we start that, does anybody need any water or anything? Need to take a break? We can take a break real quick.
I'm good.
You good, Tom?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure. So
yeah, I didn't watch very much NFL because we were playing, but I do know the Colts are knocked out of the wild card game and the Bears are. So I saw a little bit of the Bears and Saints game right after we played. So I wasn't able to watch the entire game, but I obviously know the stats and the scores.
Let me be the one to tell you. You didn't miss nothing on the Bears and Saints game. Let me tell you, I'll be the first.
They were playing while we were playing.
Right, let me be the first.
I'd rather watch y'all play than the Bears play.
Facts. All facts. Well, go ahead and let them know where they can find you at, Aaron. And we want to thank you for coming on GTA Heat Check once again, man. You're always welcome to come back whenever you like, brother.
Whatever, man.
Right here on Instagram, Aaron Gordon News, and then AaronGordon.com. That's where I put up most of my stuff. So you guys can just follow me on there. You're
missing like 8 of them. There should be like 8 of those things back there, man.
It's too much. It's too much. You can also follow my podcast, but yeah, there's I got 4 different things. So I have my gaming channel, my podcast, my Aaron Gordon TV where I do my vlogs at. So, but this right here, the Aaron Gordon News is the one that I think a lot of people should definitely start following that one for sure.
Aaron Gordon News. You will have that course in the bio in case you guys don't see it clear as day right there in the back.
Right.
We'll go ahead and put it in the bio for you guys. Click the link in the bio when we put this out on YouTube and all that good stuff and Anchor. Tone, let them know where they can find you at, champ.
Oh yeah, Instagram Tone_fresh08.
And you can follow me at Tosh Slatter on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's been another episode of GTA Heat Check. Brought to you by GTA Sports Network. Make sure you follow GTA Heat Check on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as GTA Sports Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel GTA Sports, and don't forget GTASportsNet.com for all things in the world of sports. It's Tosh Slatter, and we out.